This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by trainer, manager, promoter Joe Gallagher here in Liverpool. Joe, it's been a while since we last caught up. How's life treating you? Happy New Year.
Yeah, no, Happy New Year to you. Did you have a good Christmas, good New Year?
I did indeed. Thankfully made that safe journey back from Saudi, as I know you did yourself. So
Yeah, no, it was chaos at the airport. That's why I came home before the fight. I wasn't getting caught and all that. So listen, it's good to be back out there next week anyway. So looking forward to the big fights coming up there, Fury, Usyk, and obviously AJ versus Ngannou. But like I say, we're here in Liverpool starting the year, and like you say, with Natasha and Mikaela Mayer. And there's something that I noticed about this, and it was said in Boxing News today. We've got a fight here starting the year off for Boxer Sky. And it doesn't involve Katie Taylor, where we usually feel it. We need to get an audience because it's Katie. And we have got a fight between two fighters without really much intense beef, like a Clarissa Savannah. So that's a huge compliment and backhanding compliment to the two girls boxing, two women boxing on the event, Natasha Jonas and Mikaela Mayer, that people are looking at this as a boxing show Saturday night and not much more as a women's boxing fight. Does that make sense? So it's a huge compliment to the two of them and how far women boxing has come.
I spoke to Tasha obviously earlier on, and she said to me that she doesn't feel there's anything Mikaela brings into the fight that she hasn't come across previously. Is there anything Mikaela does bring into this bout though which is of interest to you that maybe Tasha needs to be more prepared for?
Listen, Mikaela's a very good fighter. She's very skilled, a former Olympian. She's been around the circuit a while. She's moved up in weight. She won't feel as weight drained as she has done in a past contests. It's hard to judge her last couple of performances because the standard wasn't that good, but there's a huge opportunity and there's a title on the line, so we've got the best Mikaela. She can box in the front foot, back foot, and she can also, which I feel in this fight, she may change her feet to southpaw a few times, so we've tried to cover all bases for what Mikaela brings and let Mikaela worry a little about what Natasha's got to bring.
I have to ask, I saw Sky Sports live stream yesterday where they said to Mikaela, this is the first southpaw Mikaela's faced in the pro ranks. How key could that play a part on Saturday night?
Most probably down the straight. I think early on Mikaela have her tactics nailed on, and it's up to Natasha to get her shots off earlier and unsettle Mikaela and not let her grow in confidence in fighting a southpaw. And then down the straight, when Mikaela gets a little bit tired, she may revert back to type, and that's where Natasha may get success. But like I said to you, it's a massive fight, and it's a 50-50 fight, and it's, you ask people in the room here, loyalty, a lot of people will say Natasha, boxing people will say most probably Natasha, but mostly like a 60-40 split.
With Natasha and Mikaela, both of them obviously moved up in weights. Tasha coming back down now from 154 to 147, picking up a world title. How much more comfortable, in your opinion, does she look moving back down the weight to 147?
Tasha's never been that heavy. I think if you look at her fights at 154 against the bigger girls, she was always weighing in at 149 with her clothes on and that, so it isn't a problem. She's still walking in and around that weight at 147. And most probably down the line, Tasha most probably will go back down again to 140. That's where the opportunities were. This is where the opportunities for this fight for Mikaela are, and that's how we are. Women boxing, fair play to them. They're moving up and down the weight divisions. But yeah, no, Natasha looks well. She was sharp yesterday, and listen, you don't win world titles on the pads in a public workout. It's what matters Saturday night that counts.
Obviously, for Tasha, previous big experiences with Katie, Terry, didn't get the rub of the green with scoring on the night, but she said that she's learned from those fights, and one thing she's learned, she needs to start quicker. Is that what you'd expect to see on Saturday night? She needs to set the pace?
I wouldn't say set the pace, but she needs to be switched on. She can't allow moments bypass her. In the Katie Taylor fight, we had where we wanted, and we switched off in round 9. It gave Katie that round, and we came back and won the 10th, but it cost her the fight. She had enough fights now, she had enough lessons now, she had a speed bump, she had a close decisions, and she'll have no one else to blame. And for Natasha, the door was open, she kicked the doors down. She's won 4 world titles in the last 4 fights. She knows if she loses, the doors will be shut, and it'll be very hard to get them open again. I don't think many people want to give Natasha a break again, so she's got to make sure she keeps hold of that title Saturday night.
I did ask her, I want to get your thoughts as well as a trainer. If she's successful, do you want to see her try and clean up at 147, or would you be happy, say if a Katie Taylor rematch was offered at 140, see her drop back down to 140?
Yeah, Tasha wins Saturday night, I'd like her to retire. Tasha will tell you, everyone will tell you in around her. I just think she's done everything that she's wanted to do, blah, blah, but the fire still burns bright in her, and you're a long time retired, and to answer the question there, yeah, Katie Taylor, that's the fight. I think that's the fight that makes sense. Both girls started the journey 2012 at the Olympics, that massive fight there, and then they had a great fight behind closed doors. It'd be a shame for them not to have a fight with everyone being able to come and see it, and I think they'll both be the ideal dance partner for each other to have that last dance with, whether that's at Croke Park, Liverpool, Dublin, wherever. I just think the two of them came into the game after a big fight, and both of them to walk out, old rivals together, and a last dance, and that's the end of that era really. So yeah, most probably a Katie Taylor fight in the summer would be ideal for me in the ideal world.
I have to ask Joe, you mentioned that if you weren't Katie Taylor, you'd like to see her set about retiring. Could that be difficult for her, given that if she was to be successful financially, there's a lot of money obviously between the female side of the sport as well now, and it could be a very lucrative fight, whoever it is next for her, it could be hard for her to turn down.
Yeah, like I said to you, money talks, doesn't it? And we'll just have to wait and see. First of all, we've got to get through Saturday night first, and that's the main thing that's on our minds at the moment. The rest of the talk is all fantasy land at the moment, and we've just got to concentrate and sending Mikaela Mayer back to America without a world title.
Just a couple of other topics I want to quickly touch on. Former charge of yours, Callum Smith, fell short against Artur Beterbiev this past weekend. What did you make of that fight?
Listen, it's Beterbiev. I said yesterday it wasn't no detriment to him, but people have got to start talking about Beterbiev as a pound for pound in everyone's top three, at least top five at least. Anyway, he seems unstoppable, and like you say, he came out, got the win, and that was it for Callum. Listen, Callum's got to go home, I assume, and think about what he's got to do for the future. He's won an awful lot of boxing, made an awful lot of money in boxing, and he can mostly hang around and wait for them fights to happen, Beterbiev and Bivol, and see if the belt's for Kate, and go and do that. Will he come down and fight domestically against the winner of Bout Aziz or Anthony Yard? Don't really think so. I think there's just a different level altogether from where Callum's been operating. But listen, he'll sit down with his missus and his family, and he'll make that right decision. So whatever he chooses to do, I'm sure it'll be right by him and his family.
Former opponent of Callum's, John Ryder, faces a former opponent of Beefy's, Jaime Munguia, next weekend. What's your take on that fight, Joe?
No, good fight. I rate Jaime Munguia, but like I say, John Ryder's performance against Canelo was very brave, and whether he can dig into the well again and cause the upset, maybe he can do. Munguia's a good fighter. Liam Smith had a really good fight with him. He's getting bigger and bigger, but that's a live fight. I wouldn't be surprised to wake up in the morning and see John Ryder's nicked a points decision there. But at the same token, I wouldn't be surprised Jaime Munguia just shows his class. He isn't somebody, he's got a bit of longer arms, punches. He's not the biggest puncher, but I do feel John Ryder could get to him and drag him at the trenches, but I think it'll be a close decision either way.
Joe, just to end on, you mentioned the upcoming ventures into Saudi Arabia. Obviously start off with that undisputed bout Feb 17th, Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk. What goes down in the Middle East?
What goes down? What do you mean, what goes down?
What happens in the main event?
Oh, main event. Listen, it's hard not to be Tyson Fury when you've known him most of his life. He's there, he's on the big stage, he's fighting Alexander Usyk for undisputed. It'd be great for Manchester to have had an undisputed world heavyweight champion. So Tyson Fury. Whether he does it remains to be seen. Whether he didn't train for the Ngannou fight, Usyk. People talk about people's activity and inactivity. Alexander Usyk's only had, I think it's one fight a year for the last 5 years. He's putting miles on the clock. He's had the fight there with Dubois as well, and this is a huge opportunity for him. Can he pull one more big night out of the bag for himself as well? So listen, it could be a ball fest or it could be a Holyfield Bow type of fight, but I'm fancying Tyson Fury. A proper fit, 100% skill set Tyson Fury is a very hard man to beat.
Final one, Joe, because you're about to get called up onto there. Joshua Ngannou. How big is that risk there for Anthony Joshua? Yeah,
no, listen, it's a big risk factor. I think that's the reason why people are selling the fight. Can Ngannou do to AJ what he did to Tyson Fury? That's what the fight's been sold on. For Ngannou, his second fight, he's fighting a two-time world champion, two-time former world champion, so it's a huge opportunity for him. And what a story Francis Ngannou. If you were to put that to the British Board of Control, you've got a heavyweight here who's lost in his debut, going to fight Anthony Joshua, to knock it down. But that's boxing this day and age, isn't it? Francis Ngannou, with the social following his performance with Tyson Fury, has got him this gig now against AJ.
Joe, appreciate your time. Good luck on Saturday night. Good to speak to you.
Good to see you again.